Cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Hi, my name is Sandy Parsons. I'm an artist in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm interviewing with Yellow Peril Gallery for their show Occupy coming up in March in Rhode Island. I do painting, collage, mixed media work, and some sculpture. I also dabble in graphics and video for side jobs and that kind of thing. I would say I'm definitely part of the 99%. You're probably familiar with that cliche stereotype, the starving artist. It's kind of true for a lot of artists these days, especially in the past few years. It's been a little bit rough for the art market, but hanging in there. I do have a little bit different perspective of what the 99% should represent. I come at it from a little bit more of an environmentalist perspective, and I would like to remind people to include all other life forms, not just humans, in that, and to, promote legislation and that kind of thing to help protect and heal our environment. So I'm here with the original of one. A print of this is going to be in the Occupy show, and I'm really excited about this project. What I've done is I've made life-size prints of it on banners, and I've sent it to Occupy art shows across the country. And then after the shows, I've donated it to some of the cities that have protesters there. And so there's been one in Portland, LA, New York, Georgia, Hawaii, Australia, and I'm really excited to be in Rhode Island now too. And so this has been a pretty cool project for me. I did this art piece about 3 to 4 years ago, and it was just waiting for this. Like I had no idea. I was trying to rack my brain on how am I going to get this promoted, because this year is just so relevant. And when the Occupy movement came, I just knew that this was the time and that it was meant for this, and that the Occupy protesters were so receptive to it, and they're the perfect audience for it because they can really understand a lot of these issues and relate to them, and they really embraced it. And so I'm super excited to be involved with this. The first time I heard about the Occupy movement, actually this art piece one was in a show here in Salt Lake City at Pioneer Theater, and I was really happy about it because it was the first time that it was in a public venue. I've had a small show here in the studio, but it was the first time it was in a public venue, and at the theater they had about an attendance of 15,000 people for the play. And so it actually had more exposure than it ever had before. So the opening of that show was October 16th. And a few days later, I heard about the Occupy movement in New York. And I thought, I've got to get this artwork there. Like, I know that they're going to appreciate it. And so I didn't know how I was going to do it. I mean, this thing is like, it's 200 pounds and it's extremely valuable to me. I don't want it to get damaged, and I wanted it to be like seen by the protesters, out on the streets and that kind of thing. And, I wasn't sure how that was going to happen. I was just like waiting for an answer. And then a dear friend of mine, her name is Ruth Brown, she's the one that helped me come up with the idea of printing it on outdoor banners to, like, originally we thought, they could even just be used as a tent. We'll just like give them to the Occupy movement and just see like what they do with them and just watch what happens. And so I really have her to thank for this. She helped me come up with the idea and the funds to do this. And what we've done is, printed about 5 of these banners to start. And as soon as they were done, I mean, it took me a little while to get the photography done. I went through like 4 photographers. I had to photograph it in like 4 sections and piece it together because it's just so much information in there to get the detail of it. And then, I found the right printer and that kind of thing. And as soon as I got them done, the camps started getting evicted. And so I was a little bit discouraged about that, but I just knew that there was a reason why I did this. There was a purpose for it. And so I just, I got online and I started looking up Occupy art shows. They just keep popping up everywhere. And I thought, what a great way to show this work. And so it's been in, actually, the Yellow Peril Gallery show will have been the 10th art show. I'm really excited about this because it's like, I get to be a part of the movement and I get to, hopefully influence it and show my art in a whole new way. And also, I really do agree with the fact that art is not really accessible to the 99%. It is true that most artwork is created to be a commodity to go in a home of a wealthy person. And that's a little bit unfortunate because that just kind of like pushes a lot of artists in the direction of just creating wallpaper. I mean, it takes a lot of creativity out of it. And, the art market is, like, I've been to a lot of galleries that just say, we like what you're doing, but change this and that kind of thing. And it's like, art should be a free expression coming from the artist. And it should be whatever they want to say, whether it's political or not. And money should not be the determining factor on what the art is going to be. And I've struggled with this my entire career. And so I'm really excited to have, a way to show art and make it available to everyone. And what I've done is I've donated a lot of these banners, and they're just, accessible for anyone to look at who's at those, gatherings and that type of thing. And I've also, now I've made some small prints. They're, little 14 by 11 prints, and I printed them on recycled paper to hopefully be a little bit more environmentally conscious of an artist. And what I'm going to do is the ones I'm going to frame, I'm going to put them in used frames. And if someone just buys, a print, I encourage them to frame it in a used frame too. I like to use the word vintage frame, but there's, tons of them at thrift stores near you. Just check it out. And so that's my way of trying to, at least with this art piece especially, because it's just, got so much important information in it, to make it accessible to everyone. Well, this art piece is just kind of like a reflection of what I see that's going on in the world. There's all sorts of issues covered in it: energy, war, slavery, the history of how we got here, and trash and consumerism and that type of thing. And my message to the 1% is take a look at this. Look at what we've done. It's chaos. It's crazy. And it's killing the planet. The most staggering image in it is Gaia, who's lying there dying. She's about to die. She's been stabbed by this cross with the American flag wrapped around it. And what we need to do is focus on her. I mean, there's Obama here in the foreground, and I don't see him as, the culprit, the one to blame, or the scapegoat of any of this. He's just symbolically representing to me the consumeristic and politically distracted American. And my focus is not on him, but my focus is on Gaia, who is dying. She's been critically wounded by our consumerism, by our warmongering, by our politics, all these things that are just devouring her. And my message to the 1% is, please open your heart to her. She needs our help. We cannot live without an environment. The environment is primary. It's what's supporting our life. It's what's bringing oxygen and food to us. I mean, we cannot live without the environment. And so I would encourage all those in the 1%, or rich people, or whatever, whoever's making the policies in the world, please turn your hearts to Mother Earth. Because unfortunately, in the world that we're in right now, money makes the rules. And this whole piece is kind of patterned after a dollar bill. And not so much to just be obsessed about money. I mean, I know a lot of the people, in the Occupy movement and whatnot are very, upset about bailouts and income inequality and that kind of thing. But my focus with having this be about money is what is the detrimental effects of a economy based on everyone trying to make a profit and capitalize off of living things. The earth is full of living things that people call resources. What they do is, extract those things, harvest those things, breed them, raise them, that kind of thing, and then turn them into a product. And this process of doing that is killing and is destroying the land and is torturing animals and is wasting everything. All we are doing is taking this beautiful world and turning it into piles of garbage, because it just goes in and out of the household. As soon as someone buys it, 6 months later, it's usually in the trash. And that is just the process that we have engaged in. This is what we've become. It's just, this factory that just turns life into trash. And that is my intention with making this art piece such a representation of money, of a dollar bill, because to me what it is more of a commentary, not so much on like what's happening to our dollars, where are they going, that kind of thing. It's more of a commentary on what is the true cost of a dollar. And so my message to the 1% is to take these dollars and do something good with them. Do something that will stop destroying the planet. Do something, I don't know. I would say for people of the 99% who are struggling to make a better life for themselves, I would say let's look back to what worked for our ancestors for 2 million years before civilization. Tribalism. That is a system that works. That is a system that brought us here. Like we pretty much owe ourselves to that system of tribalism, and that is just what nature evolved humans to do. And of course, back in the day they were hunting and gathering for their food as tribes. But what I mean more so as tribalism is the sharing of support and community and that type of thing. And there's different ways that you can have a tribe here. You can pool with your neighbors. People are sharing housing more these days. You can share garden space and build communities and build tribes to protect each other, to feed each other, support each other in every kind of way. And you can share the burden of certain costs of utilities if you're sharing housing and that kind of thing. That I think is where it's going to go in this country. I mean, lots of other countries, people are living 2 or 3 generations of families inside one house, and that's not a bad idea, and it's not shameful, and it's just smart. I would also say to open your mind to a vegan, vegetarian type lifestyle. Not only does vegetable agriculture consume far less resources than animal raising agriculture, it's far, far, far better on your conscience and far less cruel. And if you think about it economically, if the meat industry was not so subsidized by our government, the cost of meat would be way higher than it is. And I don't think we can count on our governments to continually subsidize that. I think that there's going to be a day when the true cost of meat is reflected in the retail price. And so I say, let's get a head start on becoming vegetarians, and you'll feel great. It'll make you happy. It'll make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Vegetarians live longer, and it will save a lot more resources, a lot more rainforest, a lot more oil, a lot more water, and those kind of things that are going to become more and more scarce. And so it's just smart. And the best thing to do is grow your own garden. That is the best way, because you're not even shipping stuff. Support your local farmers, the ones that are right there. They need your help. Big agribusiness is pushing them out of business, and it's kind of hard for them to get by. And so what we need to do is support them, stand up to Monsanto, say no to GMOs, only buy organic, that kind of thing. You may pay higher prices for organic food in the short term, but in the long term, it makes a big difference. And also, I just want to say to the 99%, the occupiers, like, thank you so much for your enthusiasm, your tenacity, your fearlessness, and I'm just so inspired. What I would want to say to you is also, like I said before, include all the non-humans in your circle. Give them all a big hug, and let's speak out for all of them. If you want to find out more about this project with One, what you can do is go to facebook.com/movement of one, and I'm posting everywhere that it's been, posting pictures of it where, protesters are marching with it, what art shows it's going to be in, and that kind of thing. Please post pictures of yourself with One there. I kind of want to just see where it's been and what it's up to. And thanks so much for playing your part in the revolution. Peace.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no